What does it actually take to bring down an attack helicopter? Think about what that machine is. It is built to hunt, armored around the crew, fast, agile, bristling with sensors and flares and defenses. A predator that spends its life killing tanks and infantry from angles they never see coming. To kill one, the old answer was a real air defense missile, or another aircraft, or a lucky shot from a heavy weapon. Serious tools, all of them. The new answer, somewhere over the Belgorod region this week, appears to have been a small first-person view drone, the kind built from commercial parts for a few $100s, that flew more than 100 kilometers behind the front line to find it. Let that distance sit for a second. 100 kilometers. That is not the front. That is the deep rear, the place a helicopter goes to be safe. This is not a story about one aircraft lost. It is a story about a reversal, the hunter of the battlefield becoming the hunted, in the one place it was supposed to be untouchable. How does a drone the size of a dinner plate reach a target 100 kilometers deep? And what happens to rotary aviation when there is no longer any distance far enough to rest? Start at the end, with the moment on the video, and work backward. There is footage. In it, you can see a Russian Mi-28, the attack helicopter Russia likes to call its answer to the Apache, coming apart. The exact circumstances are not clear, and honesty demands saying so plainly. Maybe the drone struck the main rotor, and the aircraft simply lost the thing that keeps it in the air. Maybe the drone was caught and shredded by the blade, and in the same instant the aircraft was thrown out of control and collapsed. From the outside, we cannot yet say which. What we can say is that a helicopter that should have been resting safe in the rear was not resting safe, and that the thing that reached it was not a missile. So rewind and ask the hard question: how does a small FPV drone get 100 kilometers behind the lines at all? These machines were born as short-range weapons. A few kilometers, line of sight, a soldier in a trench flying into a target he could almost see. That is the version most people still picture. But the range has been climbing, relentlessly, through better antennas, relays, and a generation of drones designed for the long reach, rather than the knife fight. When one of them can cross 100 kilometers, the entire mental map of front and rear stops working. The place where aircraft park, refuel, and let their crews breathe is no longer beyond reach. It is just a longer flight. Here is the chain that makes a helicopter, of all things, killable this way. On the ground, or hovering low, a helicopter is at its most exposed. Slow, close to the earth, its rotor a huge and fragile disc that cannot survive a foreign object at speed. In the rear, the crews assume they are past the danger. The flares, the missile warning gear, the evasive flying, all of that is for the front, for the threats they expect. None of it is watching for a small, quiet drone drifting in at low altitude from a direction the war is not supposed to come from. The defenses were built for one kind of hunter. This was another kind entirely, and it arrived where nobody was looking. Now notice what did not happen afterward, because the silence is its own kind of evidence. When Russia loses aircraft and crews, its own military channels usually mark it. Fighter bomber, the well-known mill blogger Voice, tends to post the equivalent of "rest in peace" when a crew is gone. Here, that confirmation did not come, which cuts two ways, and both are worth holding honestly. Perhaps the crew survived, perhaps the loss is being kept quiet, perhaps the details are still murky on their side too. The point is not to declare a body count. The point is that the machine was reached, at a distance that rewrites the rules, and the usual voices have not rushed to explain it. The exact toll is unconfirmed. The reach is not. Sit with the exchange, because it is almost absurd. An attack helicopter is tens of millions of dollars of aircraft, years to build, flown by a crew that takes years more to train, and cannot be replaced from a shelf. The thing that appears to have ended this one is a drone assembled from parts you could buy online, flown by a soldier who was never anywhere near it. The most expensive predator on the battlefield, undone in its safe zone by the cheapest thing in the sky. Firepower and armor did not fail. Location failed. the assumption that 100 kilometers of distance still bought safety. And this is the part that should travel far beyond one helicopter over Belgorod. Rotary aviation everywhere is built around the idea of the safe rear. You fight forward, you pull back. You rest and rearm in a place the enemy cannot reach. That idea is now on trial. If a cheap drone can cross 100 kilometers and find a rotor disc, then the forward airstrips, the refueling points, the loiter areas where helicopters gather, none of them are automatically safe anymore. The distance that used to be protection is now just a delay. So take this as a warning, and not only for Russia. Every military that leans on attack helicopters, and that is most of them, has to look at this and ask what behind the lines is even worth now. Do you push your rotary bases farther back, giving up responsiveness and burning fuel and time to keep them out of drone range? Do you invest in short-range, low-altitude defenses at every rear site, defending against a threat that used to be somebody else's problem? Or do you keep flying on the old assumption and keep learning this lesson one rotor at a time? The forces that adapt to the new reach will keep their aircraft. The ones that trust the map they grew up with will keep replacing them. Two roads then, and neither is free. Pull the helicopters back and lose the reach and responsiveness that make them useful in the first place. Or keep them forward and accept that the safe rear is a memory, that every parking spot is now inside somebody's range. Reach or survival. The drone keeps forcing the choice, and the choice keeps getting more expensive. So tell me where you stand. Is the attack helicopter still a battlefield king in a world of long-range drones, or is this the beginning of the end of rotary aviation as we knew it? I genuinely want your read, because serious people disagree about this. If you want the war explained through the moments that quietly rewrite the rules, the hunter becoming the hunted, then like this video, share it with someone who still thinks distance means safety, and subscribe so the next report reaches you. Clear skies and watch the horizon, wherever you are.